Welcome to episode 7 of the Outwitting Latiko series. I invite you to close your eyes for a moment and take a nice deep breath in through your nose and out through your mouth. Okay. I'd like you to visualize a beautiful red ball within your root chakra, and it's probably about the size of a volleyball or an American soccer ball. Very good. Okay, relax those shoulders. This beautiful, beautiful sphere of divine energy is alive and moving and flowing in a beautiful way, helping us restore our divine lineage in our bloodlines, going across any and every timeline that we hold near and dear to us as our higher selves. Our very favorite I have a weird little cough, you guys. Our very favorite physical experiences, whether they be here in this reality or any reality. Just letting all of our favorite memories of being physical, not just in the past, but in the present, they're all happening at the same time. We may think of these timelines as even being in the future. Good. There's a lot of hope and optimism from accessing these other incarnations that we've had. In some of these, we've been human or human-ish, and in some of them, we've been very different physical life forms, either from this reality or many other realities. Nice deep breath. Okay. Very good. Now let's imagine that sphere is adding in some beautiful, pure white and platinum light to it. And immediately it's turning this gorgeous pink, mixing that red and the white and the silver-ish color. Oh, nice. And now this ball of energy is getting as big as you are tall. And it's a perfect ball. It's whole and complete. It's light. It's effervescent and bubbly like champagne. There's room to move and room to smile, room to play, room to create, space to explore, all within the human journey that you're having right now. I feel that sigh, kind of a relief and release and contentment going on here. And Watiko just said, don't get too comfortable. Okay, let's relax those shoulders and get started here. We're going to stay right at this vibration, right at the state of contentment with our blood and our physicality and our divinity all mixed in together, this awesome humanness that we are. And we're adding our consciousness to this. You can open your eyes if you haven't already. Pump your fists. Tap your knees. Beautiful. Okay. All right, here we go. So I was chit-chatting with Watiko. I was just in the kitchen. I was like, what are we going to talk about today? And I was thinking about that earlier as well. So we're going to talk about manners. And it's funny, this has come up a little bit for me in my work, but it came up really, really profoundly right after, or about 4 days after our last session 6. And I was driving down the road, and I had watched, let's see, so there was a day that I did a live podcast, and we were talking about, like, this movie with, oh my gosh, Tom Cruise and A Few Good Men. The one that's like, you can't handle the truth. Jack Nicholson, thank you. So, and it was funny because I was talking about that in one of the messages that day, or maybe both the messages that day, and then the show happened to be on that night, of course, right? So I recorded it and watched it, and the way he says, "You can't handle the truth," was just so apropos. Anyway, so I'm driving down the road a couple days later, and Wachiko says to me, okay, this feels so odd to talk about this, but I know it's important. Sometimes we, in our desire to experience our sovereignty and our sense of being able and willing to guide energy in this reality versus just like being a passenger on a bus, right? I use that metaphor quite often. So sometimes when we're stepping into that driver's seat, we get kind of bossy. And I've had clients that told me that they were like yelling at their team, like, "I don't like it this way. I don't like it that way." And it's interesting how it's not that it doesn't work that way, but it can work so much better when there's this sense of kind of mutual respect and honor. So most of us probably wouldn't yell at our team, even though it's okay to do that. I don't do it that way. It would be like yelling at your best friend. It's like, we have a little bit more emotional maturity and responsibility we can step into there. But with Wachiko, he was saying that, okay, wait, I got to slow down because this is really important. They're bringing me back to the whole experience here. Okay. So I was driving and I was having this parallel experience, being able to imagine a conference room with my alligator friend, the reptilian energy. Sam said, "No, come here. Come here, Sam. Come on. You're in here with us. Thank you." My reptilian friend, the alligator, was kind of the leader of this, whatever was going on in this dimensional range. And he was the boss. And he was in some ways the overseer of the separation age. Okay, Wachiko's smiling. He's like, "Yeah, there you are. You're right in there, Jill." So the alligator had aides like assistants. And they looked at me, and he was surprised to see me, and he kind of looked at them, almost like a mafia boss. Like, does she have authority to be here? Does she know who I am? Does she know what she's doing? And they nod. They checked my vibrational range, and then they nodded, and then he recognized me. And it was interesting because I was making commands on behalf of this reality. So they weren't personal. They were about timing of shutting things down that were regressive and repressive, and that I had the authority, and I knew I had the authority to make these requests. And it was funny because his assistant said, "You didn't say please." I know this sounds so weird, you guys. And it reminded me of that movie. And then Wachiko stepped in, and time stopped for a moment there, and he was showing me that in this range of our consciousness and our vibrational range, things will proceed more smoothly when we embrace this level of mutual respect and honor for A, the separation age, B, our sovereignty, and C, our, I want to say, willingness to kind of push the envelope and ask for things for ourselves and in this reality for others, on others' behalf, that is like beyond the scope of the normal questions. It's beyond the range of what's normally asked for. And that's where it gets important, because we do have the authority to ask. So rather than, I thought, well, if I'm in my power, then I won't say please or thank you. I'll be a little bossy about it in a way. But he has authority over certain aspects of this reality. So it's more like teamwork than it is one kind of power position winning over another. It's about kind of like establishing a relationship. I know this is uncomfortable, guys. Let's relax our shoulders. So what I noticed is that once I changed my request and I did say please, honoring the role that I play, while honoring the role that he, in this case, was playing, everything started to change vibrationally in the room, in the scene, for humanity. And I saw some really important trigger events that have happened since then. I know that things don't look so good over the past 2 weeks, and I find it really interesting that in the last message in episode number 6, we were almost like foretelling in a way some of the rioting and things like that ended up unfolding, because we were talking about the group mentality, and sometimes one person doing something has this weird kind of like viral sort of effect on other people's behavior and attitudes and vibration and perspective, actions, thoughts, emotions, etc. So that was kind of interesting, because as far as I remember right, that wasn't happening at that time. That was right after the Orlando shooting. So we weren't to the rioting stage yet, because we hadn't had the police shootings yet. So that was an interesting sort of preparation for what was coming there, I guess. Okay. Relax your shoulders again, please. Let's take a nice deep breath here. Okay. So I know it sounds strange and weird to even contemplate the idea of saying please and thank you as we ask for certain things, especially from how we identify or imagine unconsciousness in this reality, whether that be something we call Wetiko or unconsciousness in general, or whatever other sort of personification that you want to use. But I know for me in that experience, things took a very different turn once I could see more clearly the responsibility that this being in an alligator suit, if you will, had, and how he wanted to be treated and how I expected to be treated, and the role that I intended and wanted and had the authority to play. Okay? So we can ask, this is part 2, okay? We can ask for things on other people's behalf. Where it gets really, I would say, unsatisfying is that most of humanity is not embracing this wider consciousness range to even realize they have other choices. So it's kind of like putting an amazing set of paints in front of somebody that can't see. They don't even know they're there. They can't sense that there's the new range of indigo to work with. So it's often unsatisfying to us in many ways to ask for things on other people's behalf, because sometimes it feels like it's not doing any good. But it does make a difference here. So ask for things, not just on your own personal behalf, but on behalf of the collective. I know with things that I ask for, I'm expecting my bequest, if you will, is that I want to experiment with something for me, and I would like it to be available to anyone else who I want to say is aware that they can ask for it. But they have to ask for it. You really can't hand things out on a silver platter that somebody doesn't realize is available. So that's unfortunate, but a nice ripple effect of those of us stepping into that new vibration and adding on dimensional layers over and over and over. We just keep getting bigger and bigger and bigger in our size, in our spectrum of light-based energies. It's like adding more and more books to the bookshelf. We become a witness to that. We become a model for that. So we're a witness of our own higher self energy guiding us. And it's captivating, it's enchanting, it's attractive to other people, whether they're on sort of a spiritual journey or not. It's noticeable, you guys. So really trust that magic factor that any of us have that are truly embracing the light of Source Creator God in a personal, real, tangible, physical way. Please expect that light permeates through every single essence of who and what you are in this reality. Don't leave that light out of anything in your world. Trust that it goes together. Allow it to go together, even where it doesn't seem like it should or could. Okay. So Wachiko's saying, you better give him an example of something that you've asked for. I will. Okay. I've made multiple requests on behalf of those that are transitioning, and we talked about that in episode number 1 or 2, I think, about death and the afterlife and what happens in the process of dying, the recycle bin of energy and those sorts of things. I've asked multiple times that corridor be a much straighter, focused path, so that individuals that are transitioning and leaving the physical body suit, not just human, but any physicality, that their choices are more obvious, that there's less fine print and fast talking sort of contracts at that point. And Wachiko's smiling as he's showing me that is having a difference on the transition corridor. So that's really good to know. Thank you for saying that, Wachiko. Okay. So that's just one example. There's so many things that a group like this is going to be naturally passionate about and curious about, and I love the variety in that, you guys. So just let's do an exercise right here. Let's do an ask, okay? Okay. So I invite you again to close your eyes. I invite you to feel the pillar of light within you that goes all the way down through the soles of your feet, all the way up the center of your body, through your spinal column, out your crown chakra. And it is like this beautiful lightning rod within this ball of energy that is you. Nice. Okay, good. And that light feeds below us, it feeds above us, it feeds the entire light, the entire physical experience and non-physical experience that you're having here as you're human. Nice deep breath. Now let's make our neck nice and tall like a giraffe here. Relax your legs, relax your arms, relax your face, and I invite you to smile. Now let's envision that you are walking into this conference room and there's somebody sitting at a desk. It may be animal in form. It may be that alligator that I was talking to before. It could be anything you want. You can envision it however you want to. It's a shapeshifter anyway, so you don't have to get too literal here. But it is helpful that it's a desk, almost like at a bank. Okay, somebody's in position and authority behind the desk, and you're walking in like I don't know about own the place, but you know what you're doing. You know how to get the job done, and you know what you're going to ask for. And you're expecting that you will get what you ask for. Nice. Okay, so with that smile on your face, I am requesting, please, on behalf of light, across all realities, the physical and the non-physical, within my divine authority, as eternal energy, representing Source Creator God, in the all that is, and here. I am an ambassador. I am a requester. I am an embodiment of pure light and love and divine sovereignty. And I am asking for, big smile on your face, nice straight back. And now just breathe and play with the words that you either want to say out loud or to yourself. Mine is honesty and integrity between members of a community and its elected and unelected, in other words, formal and informal leadership. Self-awareness of leadership. The humility to admit when you're wrong, and the self-awareness to know when you've made a mistake. To know that something didn't go as planned. And the sense of responsibility to own it and to declare it and to make adjustments as needed within the authority offered to self. No hiding, no need for shame, no need for games, no need for scams or schemes. Just upright. Okay, let's see if you guys can hear me now. Okay, I'm hitting refresh. Let's see. Oh, I'm just telling you what to go. I'm highly annoyed by the technological challenges I've had in the last week. It's just, I was about to say it's unacceptable. Could I please have some requests with technology working better with everything that I'm doing and everything that everyone on the call is doing? Let's see if the sound is back on here, you guys. If you could let me know, please, that would be great. And by the way, thank you, Pepper and Mary Beth, for letting me know that it was off. See if we're back on. I hope we're back on. I hope. Please, please, please. Are we back on? Yes. Okay, good. Thank you, Mary Beth. Okay. So I'm guessing, I'm not guessing. I don't have to guess. Let them show me kind of where we were when it blanked out. So the pineapple, let's make it as big as you. It's very refreshing. It's signaling a new stage of humanity, a fresh timeline for us, for all of us, each of us to work within. Expansive and polite and authoritative. And working in harmony with the separation age structures that are still here. We don't want them to abandon their posts, you guys. That would be chaotic. So there is a way to work with the status quo in a way that isn't bossy and bullying and demanding and condescending. They've been running the show here for hundreds of thousands of years even. And in longer, if you think about the beyond the time-space continuum context of this reality and the ages literally all happening at once. So we benefit by working together, by knowing our light and knowing the differing ranges of consciousness that we're dealing with here and differing agendas at times. Okay. Okay, good. All right. Okay. So I would like to shift gears a little bit to your questions and things that you wanted to talk about. You can click *2 to raise your hand, and of course I'd love to hear from you. And there was a question that was presented a few weeks ago from Shannon. Hello, Shannon. I hope you're on the call tonight live. I can't tell if you are or not. It says, hi, Jill and group. Watiko has been having a lot of fun with me lately. Between insurance glitches, both health and auto, and an accident. As she's saying, a sweet new driver made a bad choice and hit me. That leaves me carless with 1 full-time job and 3 part-time jobs. He's having a lot of fun. Sometimes I cry and get down, but mostly trying to just watch it all as I pick up pieces. Just asking for support and any insight you can get on this. Thanks. P.S. Hi, Watiko, you little asshole. Okay. Okay. So, Shannon, hopefully what we talked about tonight is, and I know this was 14 days ago, I'm sensing that you're even more kind of emotionally stable to face what's going on here. Okay. So I love that you didn't go into shame or blame of yourself and, you know, the spiral, the downward spiral of, oh, what did I do wrong? You know, sort of thing. Not helpful, right? And doesn't get us vibrationally into that state of sovereignty and authority that sometimes things just happen here, and we, by taking responsibility for it without looking for causation or reason, we actually get to that upward spiraling motion faster than if we're trying to figure out why me kind of thing. Okay. Asking politely, right, for what the kind of support that you need. And I do encourage us to somehow blend together this concept of a godly kind of team essence and vibration that we may be working with already, or archangels, or, however you want to look at that. Well, also, and this is the part that may feel awkward to some of us, but recognizing that there's also a blended authority related to the realms that oversee this world and have been kind of keeping things in a state of separateness in this world. They're not the bad guys, you guys. They're just another level of the structure in this world. So by seeing them, by acknowledging them, by wanting to create a harmonious relationship with them, and now I'm kind of making a team construct out of Wachiko, I feel like my own relationship in this world feels more successful. I feel more satisfied. I feel more balanced. I feel more sure of myself and sure of my light. I feel more, I already said successful. I feel more real. That I'm not trying to just wish for rainbows and unicorns, although there's nothing wrong with wishing for those things. But there's a practicality of the matter here that's really good. It's like if you want a driver's license, at least in the U.S., you go to the Department of Motor Vehicles, and you know that they're going to play a role in this. So it's understanding the system, and that's partly what we're helping identify tonight, or today. Okay, very good. Okay, Shannon said, are you still going, Jill? Did we lose sound again? Darn it. If you guys could let me know. Darn it. I'm going to record now in a backup way so that I get what we're doing here. Trying not to get frustrated. Okay. So, again, if you guys could let me know if it's still recording, that would be great. I love what just came through, and I hope it got on the recording. Okay. It says it's connected, so that's a good thing. Okay. Oh, good. Okay, thank you, Pam. She's saying, hearing you fine on the phone. Pepper says, fascinating. I love the topic tonight. Thank you. I can still hear you on the phone, but not the podcast. Okay. I have an idea. I can't type in the question box, but Pepper, could you please type in the question box that for those that can't hear, please call into the phone, and that they're hearing fine on that, but not the podcast. If you could do that, that would be awesome. Oh, wait, no, they won't see it. Darn it. Anyway, I'm glad you can hear me, and that means it's recording, so that's a good sign. Okay, so I can see your questions. And yes, I don't know what else to say. But I am happy to take your questions, and I'm glad that I love the topic tonight too. I accept that it's a little bit obtuse, and kind of strange in terms of this idea of a kind of a desk, and that somebody's at this desk and they have authority, and it's good to use manners and say please and thank you. And it's more than a formality. It is part of this reality. So trying to bypass it, that has not been working well. It is like trying to pretend you have a driver's license and you never went to we call in the U.S. the DMV, the Department of Motor Vehicles. So I'm excited. I mean, when they showed this to me 2 weeks ago, there was a part of me that was going, this sounds so weird. It sounds like a child's book, like a child's storybook. But Wachiko's just smiling, and he's saying, there's a lot of truths that sound like that. Okay, Pepper, I see your hand up. I'm coming over. Hello, sister.
Hi.
Hi, how are you?
I'm doing good. I'm doing great.
Good.
You know, it's so strange that your topic is, I've been feeling some kind of an invitation, and I couldn't figure out what it was. And I kept saying, absolutely effing not. You know what I mean? Like, an invitation, and I felt like I'm not making a deal with you, and I couldn't figure out who it was. I didn't even investigate who it was. I'm like, absolutely not. For several weeks. And it's so interesting. I'm so happy you covered this topic.
It's so funny, right? Because we've been trained.
I flatly refuse.
And I love your
Yeah.
caution. You were cautious in a good way. I mean, think of how many times, especially over the years, I would say when we were kind of newer at this broader vibrational range, it was like baby steps. We were told, I mean, don't work in the astral, don't do this, don't do that. And
Right.
that was true.
Absolutely.
And there are versions of the astral that they don't have the authority to kind of make a deal anyway. So that would be like trying to get your driver's license from some shady person on a street corner.
Right on the corner. Right.
You don't want to do that.
I'm going to have to explore and ensure that that's not what I'm doing. But I love the topic. It's so synchronistic to me. And I had no idea that it took a minute to even sink in, and I thought, oh my goodness.
You were sensing. I love it.
Yeah.
So
thank you so much for covering it.
You're welcome.
I just love it. I love this series, every bit of it. I don't comment a lot, but I want you to know how pleased I am with it.
Thank you, Pepper. I appreciate that.
Love you. All righty.
Bye-bye. Awesome. It's funny because there is, for those of us that do have a conscious awareness of divine connection in some way, it will feel different than your team. It's kind of like I've had bosses over the years that when I needed to go speak to him or her, I was slightly intimidated. I was like, I don't want to say the wrong thing, or just a little kind of not, it wasn't casual. It felt more formal. You wanted to do it right. I'm guessing that's how it is if you were meeting like the Queen of England. There's a protocol. And that's what was so weird when they were like, what in like the A Few Good Men thing, just say please, and it wasn't bossy like that, like in the movie, but there is a set of rules of engagement, and it's helpful for us to know those. So yeah, I'm excited. I'm excited for what all of us will let this mean. Hi, Dee Dee. I see your hand up. I'm coming over there. Hey, Dee Dee.
Hey, good afternoon, evening, whatever it is.
How are you?
Great. I've been listening and reporting in on Facebook when I couldn't hear or whatever. I dropped the call and called back in. You were back on, so I was like, okay. Two things, like what Pepper just said, and this topic being synchronistic. And when I lately have been calling my team, I never call them my team, and it's like, what do you call them? Whatever. I'm communicating. I've always had such reverence, and yet lately I've been like, and it's me or my higher self. We're all in this together, but I still say, I don't know if I say please so much, but I would also always say my gratia, my thank you,
nice,
whatever. That's one thing. And the other thing, you began the call with saying that we could ask on someone else's behalf. And that's a question that I've had for the last couple of days, because I've wanted to help someone else, and I realize free will, and I go, well, should I even ask, because they have free will?
Yeah.
What's your take on that?
Yeah. Thank you for asking that, Dee Dee. So because even for healing, when I was still exploring my healing gifts, and I wanted to offer it to somebody that it wasn't in a private session, just somebody even I saw like at a store. And I know some people get a little bit cautious about that because their sense is, well, they didn't ask for it. We don't have a relationship. I don't know if I have authority to do that. We always have authority to offer something. And it's kind of like placing it under the Christmas tree for those of us that have a Christian background. It doesn't have to be opened, but you make it available. So that's the position I tend to take, is if I feel led, or when I feel led, I will offer something and ask on somebody's behalf while recognizing that they don't have to accept it. It won't be imposed on them, and they may not ask for it. So I think I advise all of us to have a healthy detachment about whether somebody chooses it or not. How does that feel to you, Dee Dee?
It feels good. I had an example of it, like two different spectrums of when I drive by people and they have a flat tire and they look like their car's broken down and they don't have any money. I go, oh, send them money and some big surprise, so I don't have a problem asking in that way. But when I've had a family member struggle with addiction, and I think today, man, he's turned the corner and it's freaking awesome. But he was the one I was thinking about or asking on his behalf, like, please, God, please, you know, his angels. And I did ask, like, to ask his higher self to get in there and wake him up to know that, yes, he still has free will, and then I go, can I even do this? You know, is he going to do what he wants to do anyway?
Yes.
Because it's a disease, you know. I don't like the disease, and send him help. That's what I was basically doing.
Right. I love what you did there. I've shared something related to addiction on my website. So for those that want to go to the website, joreneefeeler.com, and just type in addiction, you'll get a blog post that will pull up that offers kind of one experience that I shared with somebody for helping somebody that's under the spell, right, of addiction, which we talked about previously. But, I love what you did there. And I love that you're seeing that he's choosing it. How satisfying that must be.
Yeah, and it's given me an opportunity to step back and detach and still live my life. And at first you go, oh, how can I be happy when this is going on to a close family member? But
right.
It's a... But thanks for reminding me, though, that you have that on your website, because you've said it before, and I forget to go check that stuff out.
Awesome. I'm glad it came up. It's such a relevant topic for so many of us. Thank you, Dee Dee. I love you.
Love you, too.
Talk to you later. Bye-bye. Awesome, guys. Okay, star 2 to raise your hand. Awesome. Deirdre is saying, hi, Jill. I restarted the podcast and can hear you. Yay! Okay, very good. And I love it that we got to Shannon's question from earlier. That's good. Okay, let me take a minute here to mention, especially to those that have been doing the series live with us since the beginning. I can't remember if I talked about this. That's so funny. So it does feel like this is an 8-session series, and this is call number 7. So we'll have one more call, and instead of on a Tuesday on July 26th, I need to switch it to Wednesday, July 27th. So I invite you to join me for that finale call, and it could be that we kind of revive this again at some point in the future, but I've already switched over the kind of membership profile so that those that have paid through the end of July, it just becomes what they call an evergreen product, where you get access to those 8 sessions forever, lifetime, just like most of my other work, okay? And then there are others that are joining in, and they're still able to do so. And if they join before July 27th, they'll still be able to call in live and engage with us, interact. Otherwise, they'll be in that nice archive format and just ready to go. So it's beautiful. I love what we've been doing. It's been uncomfortable in some ways, but I feel like we just have this well-roundedness to our light. And I feel like we're so much more empowered in this reality with what we know, it's what's been shown to us, and this inner working that we've been shown tonight is exciting. I'm excited for you guys to play with it like I have been. This is a big deal. This is a really big deal. Okay. All right, you guys, we may be coming to a wrap for this call number 7 here. Last call for questions or comments or anything that you wanted to share. So again, star 2 to raise your hand, and I'll be looking in this Q&A box too to see if you're typing, type fast. Wow. They're just showing me something here that the level of disruption that some of us feel going on with Brexit and the continued immigration crisis, not just in the EU, but now even in Canada, and it will sprinkle over into the U.S. in a little bit, or a lot. We'll see. And then with recent shootings and kind of some fuel added to a fire of racial and civil unrest and divisiveness. this is really a special opportunity for a group like this to own our light, own our sovereignty, ask the big asks, is what the guy behind the desk just said. Ask the big asks. While having that healthy detachment that not all will ask for it. But remembering that the first person you're asking for is yourself. And then stepping into that vibration, stepping into that request being received and fulfilled. And some of the things we ask for, there isn't an off-the-shelf solution. It's something that we step into in essence of enhanced creator ability to set in motion a solution to try out and explore that has never been considered before. But working within that structure of the existing paradigm and the existing separation age protocol, we're going to get a lot farther with this approach. It is more grounded, it is more tangible, it is more practical, and we're not trying to cut corners. It's a cohesive application of light in this reality, and I'm absolutely delighted that Watiko has pointed this out, that I didn't belittle it. It felt significant to me, and I trust it, and I am excited for this group to be playing with it as well. Okay. I see a call from Nova Scotia. Hello? Is this Paul?
How you doing? How you doing?
I'm good. How are you?
Good. Doing great. I was, just listening in, and I find the topic quite fascinating of manners and recognizing or embracing that authority to ask, and what you added just recently about owning our light, owning our sovereignty as being a bit like a precursor to stepping into that. I wanted to just sort of get, when you get into that ask, and not being bossy about it, even though it seems nice to be bossy sometimes when you feel like you're embracing your authority, but I would imagine within the context of manners that it's sort of setting out that energetic framework of creating a space for some type of rhythm or harmony. Can you get into that a little more on what that sort of does energetically?
It's funny because the Watiko and the man behind the desk are smiling at your question. And they're going back to this metaphor of the Department of Motor Vehicles. It is like his license to drive your light in this reality. That's a fun one in a way, because we've been knowing that we're light, and yet we kind of, I'm sorry if this sounds demeaning to anyone, it definitely feels like it applies to me. It's kind of like we were kind of fumbling around with it. Well, can I do this with my light? Can I do this? Oh, it doesn't seem like it's affecting this part of my world. Doesn't seem like it's having, quite the pow factor I wanted it to. But now it's like we are given fresh perspective of how we insert that light into the structure that's here, and that we can still be radical, we can still be rebellious, we can still be game-changing and evolutionary, and yet while realizing there is a structure here. There is a way to be more organized and more kind of valuing the process and working with the process and the structure that's here, giving some credibility, give some credit where some credit is due. We may not like all the outcomes, but it has been functioning in its own weird way, right? So to just kind of bypass all of that, I'm sure, and he's smiling at me, the guy behind the desk, there was a bit of a, who do these people think they are? I mean, yeah, they got great light, but they don't seem to know what they're doing here. They just keep whizzing by us, experimenting with that. And yet the application and integration of that light, it's like another metaphor here is an airplane that keeps missing the runway. So they keep having to kind of take off, like they're never landing. They just keep kind of skimming the runway and having to kind of circle the airport again because they can't make contact with that runway. We are going to be making amazing contact with the runway, meaning our light being felt and heard and noticed from ourselves and our own perspective, that we've landed, that light has a landing pad now in this reality, into the physical layers of this world. And Gaia is doing like a happy dance. She's like, oh, this is so good. This is so good.
Oh, that's just beautiful. When you mentioned that in previous, when you got into the subject matters, I was driving the other day, yesterday, and through this place in New Brunswick called the Rebirthing Falls. And there's this huge river, the St. John River, coming down into the ocean. And when the tide comes in, you have these two merging, coming together, and what they create is these swirls. And it sort of reminds me of that sort of idea of that swirl of two coming together, sort of like energy sort of transmuting or changing a bit and creating something different, something more reflective of the light we hold and we carry.
Oh, I love that. Paul, what a beautiful add to what they were showing us. That is so beautiful.
Wonderful. Well, Jill, thank you so much.
You're so welcome. It's good to hear your voice, Paul. Thank you.
Yours as well. Take care. Bye.
Bye-bye. That was a super fun question, and I love that it gave that other opportunity to kind of circle back and give another visualization and another kind of explanation about what this means or what we can allow it to mean for ourselves. You guys, I'm so excited. So excited. Okay. Okay, last call for callers. *2 to raise your hand or to type in a question. Otherwise, we will kind of wrap things up here. Let's just do a little closing ceremony here. I invite you to relax again in your bodysuit and feel the lightness of your heart. Feel the clarity of your mind. And notice your license to drive, your light, anywhere you want to go in this world. Ask for anything that you want to ask for and let yourself be firmly behind that wheel, recognizing your authority, recognizing your license, recognizing the importance and excitement in the application of our light into the physical dimensions of this world, and having the awareness and the perspective of the process in place here, and that we can work with it in a way where we are seen and heard, validating our light and our authority and our sovereignty in this space. It's so, so important and so beautiful. And there's part of me that's like, why didn't we see this before? We were busy doing other things before. This is like we weren't missing anything. We weren't, the metaphor before kind of makes it seem like we were scatterbrained or something. It wasn't like that. We were in honorable positions and they were excited for us. But we've reached another kind of level of the relevance of light in this reality, and we're very serious. We're getting very serious about light being actionable and authoritative in this world. And there's a big celebration for all of us and what we've created here today. So thank you so much. Watiko is going around and shaking hands with all of us saying, nice job. You should be proud of yourself. This is big. And I also feel like we're being ushered in to, it looks like a courtroom or a legislative governmental body sort of space. And there are these chairs, almost like a Supreme Court justice, the important chairs at the front of the room, the leaders, governance, and those chairs are empty because there are beings that were sitting in those chairs that were like placeholders for us until we got here. So I encourage you to take your position at the authority of light within this world that we love so much. And so it is. And I feel like I'm looking over to the right and to the left, and we're looking at each other, and our robes are white, and our halos are intact, and our wings, our angel wings, are intact. And we've got gavels where we need them. We've got, lots of toe tapping kind of going on, and singing and dancing and celebration and amazing authority in this world. So thank you to every single one of you for being part of this experience and what we're creating here. And so it is. So we're a wrap for number 7 here, and number 8 again will be on Wednesday, July 27th, and I'm very excited about that. So the series is ready to go for others that you may want to recommend it to. Boy, do we have a treat for them, don't we? for these first 7 sessions of mind-blowing awesomeness that we've all been creating here. So thank you for being a part of it. I feel so privileged and honored to be alongside you in this journey, and I love the role that I get to play, and I hope that we each feel the level of self-importance that's deserved for what we are each doing here. Okay? I love you. And thank you for asking for whatever you asked for earlier. And you can repeat that process in the archives if you choose to. Okay? With love and blessings and a deep, deep bow to every single one of us. Bye-bye for now.